You do.
Perfect. Yeah. So what the hell?
Well, playoffs. We were talking about the playoffs, and you were saying how. So basically, you talked about the playoffs, and you were saying how you were frustrated about. You're rooting for Vancouver.
Right.
I'm rooting for Boston. I think the playoffs have been it's been a good.
You, like many Devil fans, are rooting for Boston.
I know.
But what's your reasoning? I want to know.
See, but my reasoning is because I like Tim Thomas. I've always enjoyed him as a goalie. He's a come-from-behind story, and I really wanted to make sure that I'd like to see him win a cup because I think Luongo's going to have the chance with that Vancouver team to win many Stanley Cups. This is kind of like his last gasp, I think, for Boston. He's a Hasek-style goalie. He harkens back to the old style of goaltending. I just like Thomas. I think Thomas is a great goalie.
If that's the reasoning, that's fine. But what I'm hearing from a lot of Devil fans is, oh, I just want to see Thomas win because he's a good goalie. And I don't think that's legitimate at all. I think they're rooting for Boston, all right, if you ask me. Because there's no threat in Thomas to go after their loved one, their little fanboy, Martin Brodeur. All right, and when you look at Luongo's resume, he's got a World's Gold Medal. He's got an IHF championship. Brodeur doesn't. A President's Trophy. Brodeur doesn't.
That he does.
Okay, he's got a Jennings Trophy. He's got an Olympic gold medal. Multiple All-Stars. All right, he's got a Challenge Ball. He's got a World Cup championship. And in the next couple seasons, he'll have 400 wins, and he already has nearly 60 shutouts. All right, already. And how old is he? 31 years old?
31.
Yeah, so they know, okay, that in the next 10 years, he could close in on all of Brodeur's records, theoretically. This, that, the wins, the shutouts. So they're already building some kind of recourse bill, like, oh, well, he's never won the big one. Bull crap. Because after he wins the Stanley Cup, he'll win the big one, all right, and then they have nothing to say. Nothing to say. And he was a captain of Vancouver. He's got stuff that Brodeur can't say. With Thomas, there's no threat there. So you root for Vancouver at the field.
I agree.
Plus, they've never won a Stanley Cup. They lost in 1994.
This is true. But I think that team is good enough where they're going to have a few more. They have a good young defense. Luongo's going to be good for. He's a top five. He's a top 5 goalie in the league, in my opinion. I just like Boston. I just like the fact that I like Tim Thomas, and I started rooting for Boston in the Philly series because they played Philadelphia in that in the second round. They played Philly. And I was rooting for them, and as I said in the mini-sode, the reason I rooted for them over Philly is because A, it's Philly. Devil fans don't root for Philly. No. Of course not. And B, any state that has cheesesteaks, or thinks Cheese Whiz belongs on a goddamn cheesesteak, is out of their goddamn mind. So, I mean, I'm rooting for Boston. Now, Joe, we spoke briefly off the air about the Burrows situation, about the Burrows thing. What's your take on it? I mean,
I think the league is making. I think the fans and the media propaganda in general is making a way bigger deal of this than they should. I don't think it's that big a deal.
Nope.
I don't think it impacted the game or the series at all.
No.
The ref didn't see it, so you can't say like, oh, the officials are in this one's pocket or in that one's pocket or partiality, and they're being discreet about it. The ref didn't see it. Really, I mean, you're making a huge deal about nothing. It's much ado over nothing.
Agreed. I mean,
if you micromanage every play, what becomes of the league then?
Well, it becomes silly, and that's exactly my point. My point was the whole thing. The ref didn't see it. If the ref had seen it, he would have given him a game misconduct, and
like you said, yeah.
And then he would have gotten his game suspension and done deal. The problem is he didn't see it.
Right.
And let's be honest, the guy's hand was gloved. He's got hockey. I'm sure I have a hockey glove here somewhere. I can illustrate for the camera. Here. Look at this thing.
This is a hockey glove.
This is a hockey glove. In case you didn't know, this is a hockey glove. For all of those who are unaware. I was almost asking you to bite it, but it'd be kind of gross. Like there isn't a lot of padding towards on the thing. But let's be honest. If you give a little friendly nibble
in the heat of battle, okay, yeah, in the heat of the moment, you're going to scratch and claw and bite your way. You're not talking about something. This is the Stanley Cup.
And this happens I'm sure, in every single game that has any sort of rivalry. You don't think that people are throwing elbows and throwing cheap shots when they're piled in front of the goaltender in the scrum? You don't think people are kneeing in the groin? People are doing all sorts of nonsense. This just happened to be out in the open. The ref didn't see it, and he got called for it. And again, if you look at a hockey glove, it didn't cause any injury. It's not like he had his hand off and he took a bite out of his finger, or did a Mike Tyson and took a piece of his ear off.
Right.
He simply just clamped down on the glove with his teeth and whatever. And the ref didn't see it.
I think
and who cares?
The premise here should be going forward. Let the guys play. I think the refs have done a great job, and the better team is going to win. And right now, they're both 2 wins away. Like I said, you're going to have these Brodeur Devil lovers, these Kool-Aid drinkers rooting for, Boston because they want to keep Luongo down. But really, they shouldn't, because a Brodeur lover is usually best friends with a Lou Lamoriello lover.
This is true.
And if Boston wins, Claude Julien in the last 3 years has a Jack Adams and a Stanley Cup.
Yep.
And the Devils got rid of him. Meanwhile, the Devils can't keep a coach.
Yep.
So let's back up a little bit before we...
And that's my second reason, and thank you for reminding me, is that I've always felt Claude Julien got a raw deal in New Jersey.
Totally.
I thought it was an awful thing what happened to him. And I'm very glad that he's now doing well in Boston.
He found greener pastures.
He found
success. Yep. He got the last laugh.
Absolutely.
All right, and after that, it went from that to Claude Julien, to Lou Lamoriello, to John McClain. No, I'm sorry. Who was that? No, Brent Sutter. Right? Yeah. Back to Lou, back to John McClain, to Jacques Lemaire. It's crazy. Yeah. And meanwhile, Julian's going to have a cup if he wins 2 more games, and he's already got a Jack Adams. So, are we sure, Kool-Aids, that we're rooting for Boston on this one? We're going to take a little break now, guys.
Very good.
Keep it here.
Keep it here at DevsCast.
Sure.